Today's webinar is titled How to Get Your Food Product on Store Shelves in 5 Simple Steps. Our presenter today is Chef A.J. Richards. Chef Richards is a Raleigh, Virginia native who moved to Lynchburg, Virginia after marrying. Her cookbook series, The Six-Sided Box, appears frequently in Amazon's best-selling book lists, including the new hot release cookbook list. The Six-Sided Box is a series featuring simple recipes incorporating fresh ingredients for busy moms, college students, and meals on the go. Her cookbook success has led to hosting weekday radio cooking segments on 3 radio stations, including ESPN Tallahassee. She is resident chef at the Plow and Hearth retail store in Roanoke, Virginia. Most recently, Chef Richards has leveraged her success to start BS Grillin' Company, which specializes in all-natural, gluten-free, and vegan condiments. She is also in the process of being cast for a new show on the A&E network. This wildly successful radio and television chef, Amazon self-published author, and owner of BS Grillin' Company is certainly the next hot entrepreneur to watch out for, and we're thrilled to have Chef Richards with us. Welcome, and let's get going, Chef.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out how to get my products on store shelves. Many friends of mine who also have products, they were telling me it took 2 and 3 years just to get into 40, 50 stores, and I saw that was going to take quite a while, but I knew they had to be a faster process. So the first 6 months of our company, we spent time developing our products. And this is myself, my husband, and our co-owners, Rose and Steve Weller. And from there, we figured out we wanted to do something different. We kind of wanted to pave the way for others and making a skeleton for getting the products in the store shelves quicker, more efficient, where you're spending less money and making profit sooner than later. This is our product. It's BS Grillin'. We have gourmet sauces and relishes. They're all natural, gluten-free, vegan. We have our miniature-sized 16-ounce glass, and we are found in the Mid-Atlantic Giant region, Mid-Atlantic Kroger, Mid-Atlantic Food Lion. We're also working with Sprouts and Publix for March 2018, and we're also in about 400 or 500 independent stores from Florida up to Pennsylvania. So this gives you kind of a ladder of what we did. We became our LLC in April 2014. That's when we started working on the product and working on the skeleton for how to get on those store shelves, because that's your growth. We actually started manufacturing our products in 2015. We entered into our first independent stores June 2016, and then we were picked up by some large chain stores, Giant and Kroger's, in early July 2016. So your very first step that I came up with, after you have your great product, it looks good, it tastes good, it may be clothing, it may be an app, it may be something for the computer, and it may be a service. Now that you have it, you're ready to go, you're ready to find your consumer, your clients, your customers to start purchasing your products. Now, today I'm going to talk primarily towards the food industry because that's what I know best, but I think you can take this skeleton and you can adapt it to any type product that you have. So our first step is your product shelf ready? And that's really, really important. A lot of people have a product and like, oh, I'm ready to go to the major chain stores. You're not ready for that just yet. First thing you need to do, if you have a label, and most products will have a label or a tag, you need to make sure that your label is eye-catching. It needs to be different. It needs to just be kind of that wow factor. When people see it, they kind of want to pick it up and touch it and read it. Do you have a memorable name? That's also important. A lot of people will pick a name that's a little hard to say, or people aren't sure the pronunciation of it, ours is BS Grillin'. The funny thing is that just seconds after people pick up the product, they always kind of whisper to us at an event or an expo, what does BS stand for? Or we'll get messages on our Facebook page asking, what does it stand for? So it does stick in your mind. It makes people kind of snicker just a little bit, but they never forget BS Grillin'. So when they see it, they know exactly who we are. The next thing that we did to make sure, we're a little biased because we own the company. We're locked into the label. It's our logo. We're excited about it. Of course, you think it's perfect. It's ready to go straight to market. We went straight to social media. We built our social media page. In the meantime, we were building the website page. We went straight to our fans on social media. And at this time, we do not have a product ready to go. It's designed, the recipes are designed, we perfected them, but we haven't bottled them yet at a manufacturer. So we went to them and we said, tell us that here's our label. We have several choices. Tell us what color choices do you like, why? Do you like the font that we're using? Do you like the flames? What does it say to you? Does it say grilling product? And they gave us some really great feedback on the color, the font, and we also took it to the store, which was my husband's idea, and we put it right on the store shelf near other similar products. And as we took pictures of it, we stopped people in the store. We, said, what do you think about this product? What do you think about the label? Is it eye-catching? Would it make you, draw you near to pick it up and read it and possibly purchase? And so we took a lot of that information and put it back into the label. You will adjust your label, add, take away things many times throughout the life of your label. So I say it's really a living product, the label itself, because it does grow, and as your requirements for food from FDA changes, and we have to change our labels to put that information in a certain format and way that their requirements. So next, we're going to go to kind of understanding what does it cost to build this product. That's another important part. Do you know the price point that you're going to go from raw product straight to the shelf? Here's an example. We have our manufacturing price list. You can see the DPI price. We have the price for the 5,000 custom-made boxes. We have the product cost for the product, the raw material that goes into it. We have the cost of our labels. We have the cost for the partition that goes inside the boxes, the pallet that the boxes sit on, and the plastic wrap getting it ready to travel to a store warehouse. And so that gives us our cost, and then we kind of can see what our margin is. Your retail stores are going to want to know what your wholesale cost is. So you need to know your manufacturing cost to come up with your wholesale cost to come up with a suggested retail cost. The next part of your label, you want to have GS1 UPC codes. And many people will ask me why. I can buy them cheaper on the internet. You can, but I say do it once. A lot of people would buy the cheaper codes, go into independent stores, and then once Kroger's or a large grocery chain like Food Lion or Publix or Giant was interested in them, they had to redo their labels with GS1 UPC codes. So I recommend that you do it from the beginning so you are ready at any time to go into any store. And also if you have a cheaper UPC code and then you have a GS1, you have two products with two different UPC codes competing against each other in the marketplace. So just start with one code, do it right. It is a small investment, but it is worth it because the larger chains will see that you've invested the time and you've went the correct route, and they're ready to work with you, and they're not having to wait while you change everything. The next step, you're going to want to find your co-packer, someone who can make your product on a larger scale. You're not going to be able to keep up with the scale that a lot of the chain stores will want. We, in the last 3 weeks, just did $35,000 for one grocery store chain, and there's no way we could have manufactured that ourselves at this time. We're only 3 years old, so we definitely appreciate having a co-packer who can crank out the product and, 48 hours, have it ready on a pallet for the truck to backhaul it to their warehouse. And the next step you're going to want to know is, how do I get the product to my customer? When I say your customer, that's going to be your wholesale customer, and then they're actually selling to the consumer. So for us, with our large grocery chains, many of them want to backhaul their product with their truck straight to their warehouse, which is great. And our co-packer makes that appointment with that trucking company. So I'm kind of out of it, which is nice. It frees me up to do other things to grow the company. For our independent stores, we deliver. We have a delivery company that takes it to them within a 45-minute range. And if they're outside of that, then we're going to use FedEx or UPS to deliver their products to them. The next step you're going to want to do is branding yourself. And that is really important. And you actually want to start your branding process before you actually have the product to go to market. So we started with our website and our social media. We got those built very quickly. You want them to look professional. I use Wix. It's not a promotion for Wix, but that's who I used. It was very user-friendly for the builder, and it's very user-friendly for the customer who's checking out your website. And that's what you want, something that's ease, and they're going to enjoy going back there each time. Also, many of the stores that you're going to talk to about taking your product onto their store shelves, even while we're on the phone, setting the appointment or discussing my product, they're already on the website looking and checking it out while we're on the phone. So that really makes you legit, and you really want to get that website up and going. Starting to build that hype with your social media fan base, that was very important for us. And we had people asking about it, talking about it. It was going viral. And people were asking where could they purchase it at, and at that time they couldn't purchase it, but we were able to send them free samples. So we would run contests on our Facebook page to build that viral social media growth, and we would pick 4 or 5 winners that answered the contest question correctly and send that out, and then they would put pictures of themselves with the product, using the product, recipes they made with the product. So we built that hype before we actually went to the store shelves. From that hype, they start going to their local stores that they shop at, asking, can they get our product? So they were already bringing our product directly to the stores, which is a great way to go also. And we have gotten into several stores directly from requests from our consumer. On your website, make sure you have some great professional pictures of your product in different ways, and you might want to have it in a 2-pack or a 4-pack, someone wearing the blue jeans on the rack, showing off the different features of your product, and make sure you add great content and details about your product. We have our nutritional facts, list of our ingredients, so the customer doesn't have to guess what's in it. They can look right away and say, oh, this is great for my dietary needs. I'm going to look for this. I'm going to click the Amazon button on the website and order it right now. So it really is a call to action when you have really good content. It's very intriguing for them to want to purchase immediately. Also, on your social media page, you want to start back and forth conversations with your customers. And that also drives the hype and get them to also share it with their friends, and then their friends share it with their friends. And so we went through the 50 states on social media very quickly, doing things like that. We also asked people if they shared it with 50 different people, we would send them a free product. So we constantly ask people to help us build our social media and our website views by giving out free products. And also, stores like to know that you have a presence with your social media and with your website, and that tells them that people know about it. So when they come here, they're going to see it, they already know about the product, and they're ready to purchase. So that gets your customer, the store, the wholesale store, very excited to see that. So now it's really time to roll up your sleeves and say, what are we going to do, and how are we going to get there, and who we're going to sell it to, who's our niche. And we're going to have a poll coming up in just a second that I want you to participate in. So who is your niche? Your niche is going to be your customer who has a great interest in your product. And you're going to find that niche and define them by their gender, age, economics, their lifestyle, and where they live. Also, that niche has a problem that hopefully your product is going to solve. Are they looking to eat all natural? Do they have a dietary restriction, such as no gluten or no dairy, no meat? So that worked out very well for us with our products. And as you see, the poll just popped up, and I'd like you to take a second and tell me if you have a product that is ready for market, and if you do, what type is it? We have food and beverage, clothing. Do you offer a service, or do you have a type of technology, an app, something in that area? The next thing you want to do is you're finding your niche, and now you have that determined. You want to start looking for stores that cater to that niche. We did that by Google, looking for websites that cater to that niche, and also social media. We were able to find stores that was a good fit for us. We were able to look at the different types of products they carry. Do they carry sauces and relishes? Do they carry food at all? What is the price point for their product? Because that's important for your niche also. Can they afford your product? Is it out of their price range for what they normally buy? And so we took those stores and we just started building what we call a call list database. And this is where we put their address down, their phone number, and these are the people we're going to start first to contact because they already sell something to our niche customer. So we want to be another product that they're going to sell to our niche. Before you actually get on the phone to start making your calls, you want to get your glossies, what we call your leave behinds, ready. And that's going to be your sale sheet and also your product sheet. And you can see we have our sell sheet with our story, and that's really important in this time for small companies to have a story about your product. It really connects your product and your history with someone else, an experience that they had, or you're interested in the same common thing. So it really kind of pulls them into, choosing your product over some large corporation that they have no connection to. Our product sheet is a two-sided sheet. We have the product and the story on the front, and then we also have the product individually pictured with the nutritional facts and the list of ingredients so that the buyer has all the necessary information right there. As you can see on the bottom of our product sheet, we also have any certifications that we have. We are a Virginia Finest product, and it's very important that you look into your state trademark. That was a huge launch for our company, Many people, when we call them, they would say, "Are you a Virginia Finest product?" And we could say proudly, "Yes, we are." And they're like, "We love Virginia Finest products." People come here searching out what is the newest Virginia Finest product. We're made in the USA. That is something to be very proud of, and I think you should put that on your product sheet if that is true. And we're also vegan. We're also grain-free, and then we're also a woman-owned certified company. And they have many different certifications you can get for different minority groups. So I think that's another very valuable tool to invest in and to have that on your sheet, because it does help you down the road get your foot into doors that you normally wouldn't get into as easily or quickly, because they're looking for a variety of business owners. And so they want to have minority business owners represented in their store. So it's a really good foot in the door. So you want to look at that type certification. Next, you'll see our price sheet. In the price sheet, you're going to want to show your product with a description of the product, the size of the product, how many units come in a case, what is your wholesale cost, and then what is the suggested retail cost, and then also the UPC code, because they're going to use that many times to order your product by that UPC code. So also we have a second poll here. Do you have a product that is ready for store shelves right now? Is that a yes, a no, almost there? And please type in your questions and anything that is relevant to exactly what I'm speaking on. Cindy will pause me to answer your question, and then we will have a more question answering at the end. The fourth step is really getting real at this point. So you have your product, you have your co-packer, you have your glossies, samples, all the leave behinds you want to take. You've built your database for the list of stores you'd like to start with. And I always recommend that you want to start local in your area. Everybody wants to go to Costco and Sam's. That is tier 2 in your company. That's usually not tier 1. So once you want to get yourself into these small independent stores, start building up the customer base there. Then as your product, the branding becomes out further, and more people in different states and different cities are finding you, then the Costco's, the Sam's, the Food Lions, the Kroger's are going to become more attracted to your product and wanting you there. They're going to want a piece of that action. So you want to, now that you have your stores created in a database, now you need to write a phone script. And it's an elevator phone script because as small business owners, a lot of the retail stores you go in, they only have 1 to 2 employees plus the buyer and the owner. So they can't stay on the phone for a very long time. So to get their attention, it needs to be an elevator phone script is what I call it. It's going to be short and sweet. It's going to give the highlights of your product. Of course, it's going to introduce you and your product. And you're going to then ask for a 10-minute demo appointment. And depending on the distance, you may just need to do a phone demo, and then you would send them the product, and then you would contact them back at the time that they've received it. And as they're able to taste it, touch it, feel it, they can speak to you on the phone and ask any additional questions about your product. I like to start with a simple schedule. I will schedule 3 to 5 appointments on the same day, once a week in the same area. So once I get my first store to say, yes, we'd like to take an order, I'm going to look at the other surrounding stores about 8 to 10 miles out in a radius, because you don't want your product too close together in too many stores. And many people will ask, who else in this area carries your product? Many times they want to be the only one, but I feel that they are the only one if the next store is 8+ miles away. Because people are coming there, they're not going to drive 12 miles away just to get it somewhere else, unless the price is quite different, but usually the price is pretty much the same. So now that you have your appointment set, your calendar is set, we're going to go in there and close that sale. So it's time to get her done. And you're going to dress in business casual. You want to arrive to your appointment 15 minutes or so early, because I need to set up my demos, get out my glossies. I have everything there ready for them to taste, the napkins, the spoon. So when they sit down with me, the appointment starts immediately, and I'm not bumbling around trying to get things set up in front of them. I want to make sure they understand that their time is valuable and I respect it, and I'm ready to go for my 10-minute or 15-minute appointment. I give them the information they need, all the highlights to get on my product, answer any immediate questions. I wrap it up at 10 minutes, and then I allow them to ask additional questions that they want to have answered to determine if we go on their shelf or not. I recommend highly, do not sell to them. You just want to demo your product. You want to show them the benefits and the features of your product and how the customer is going to embrace it. You also want to tell them what stands out about your product, what makes it very different than the other similar like product. Does it solve a consumer's problem? That's a very important thing. If they have a dietary restriction, does your product help solve that problem and they can eat this when they can't eat these other 3 things? So that's very important that you can point that out quickly, that it solves a problem for a certain niche group of people. You also want to offer some type of store support. We offer store demos. We also offer leave behind, such as each case, they'll get recipe cards. We offer flyers. We hyperlink them in social media, so we like them first, and then we can hyperlink them when we're talking about, where they can purchase at. And so then that sends people over to their stores. When you hyperlink it, also the people who like their Facebook page or their Instagram can also now see it. You want to always kind of give them some kind of promotion or shout out on your social media. And then you also, another good recommendation is to, on your website, do Google Maps, and then you can pinpoint where your product can be found. So you're promoting the store that way. So giving the store some free notoriety, free promotion, that always is a benefit for the store. Anybody helping to get the feet in the street into the store to make a purchase. And it's a win-win for those people. So these are some helpful tips. Once you've gotten your yes, congratulations. Now you just want to continue to repeat it and repeat it each week. By doing that, we were able to get in 50 stores in about 5 weeks. So it really starts your growth, and that's what you're looking for, how to grow the company, and you're going to do that by growing your sales into a variety of different stores. So store demos are really important. If you can go there and show your product, you know it best. You can answer the questions the best. And then at the same time, I like to have like an employee there with me, working beside me, so then they're training and learning and understanding our product, so then they can represent it well when we're not there. We also do brochures based on different seasons like Easter or Christmas menus that we give, and the store can give those away to the customers. We do recipe cards that we send with each case of product, and the stores are able to give those away. So as soon as they get home with their product, they have 2 recipes, one on the front, one on the back, that they can make immediately. Also, we have website support. We have over 100 recipes on our website and additional information, plus our Google Maps, directing people to the different stores in their area that carry our product. And then it shows them another 100 ways that they can use the product. So they use it quickly and they're back out, feet in the street, repurchasing, repurchasing, repurchasing. From that, your store is going to reorder, reorder, reorder. Of course, you want to continue the hype on social media, highlighting the stores that you're in on your social media pages. And we do special flyers also that may feature Super Bowl menu or a graduation menu, a Father's Day menu. So we try to give our customer as many tools as possible to use our product, and so they have the need to purchase again. And now I'm ready for any questions and answers. Questions that I can give you answers to.
Thank you, Chef Richards. We do have some questions that are coming in, and if others have questions, please, now's the time to type them into the chat box. The first question comes from Davine. Here's the question. What are the competitive advantages of indicating on the label if my product is naturally organic, gluten-free, and vegan without alienating customers who may not care about those items and attracting those who look for those qualities all in the same breath?
Can you repeat the first part again?
What are the competitive advantages of indicating on the label if the product is naturally organic, gluten-free, and vegan without alienating customers who don't necessarily care about those things?
It is something you definitely want to do. We have a little yellow star on the front of our label if you look closely at it, and it says it's, all natural, gluten-free, vegan. It's important for the people who are looking for it, but people who are not, if they don't care about those three aspects, usually they've not been offended by it, and they still are very interested because it says bourbon and brandy. Those things interest them because we have bourbon in one product and we have brandy in another. So there are other things that will probably be on the label that will still attract other people. One problem that our product solves is that I grew up with food allergies, and I had to buy a special sauce, and my husband had a different sauce. And so that's double money buying two barbecue sauces or two dipping sauces. And this product, the entire family can use it no matter what the dietary needs are. So if you love meat, you're going to love the product. If you're vegan, you'll love the product. And I think making a product that is very diverse was one of our really, one of the things that made us special and stand out. And I don't think people really get offended by the different things that are on the label. So if they're looking for something new, something tasty, and you have other things on your label that's attracting them, those things should be fine. Nobody will be bothered or upset about it.
Great, thank you. Another question from the same participant. How important is it to have an exit strategy for my product?
Repeat that one again. I'm sorry. I'm just having a little difficulty.
How important is it to have an exit strategy for the product?
I'm not sure. What is the exit strategy?
Exit strategy. How to get out of the business.
How to end? That, I'm not sure. For us, we are a cash-only business, so we don't have any major bank loans or anything out there. So if we closed our doors, we would just have a lot of sauces to give as gifts and to eat. I don't know if that answered her question or not.
Well, I'm not sure, but if we get another comment, I'll share it. So when you talked about getting your product into the various stores, how did you determine who was the best person to reach out to? And are those folks in the marketing department, the purchasing, buying department? How do you identify who are the appropriate people?
When you call the store, you want to ask for the buyer for your product. So I'm a condiment or groceries, so I would ask for the buyer for groceries. And then some buyers will buy everything for the store, and then some stores have buyers for different departments. if it's clothing, houseware, or food. So just ask for the buyer that's in your area, and then if they only have one buyer, they will give that person the phone or your contact information.
Okay, this question comes specifically around the manufacturing process. Can you share a little bit about the space where you do your manufacturing and things, pitfalls, challenges, concerns, issues to be aware of as part of that manufacturing process?
Yes, and there are a lot of good and there's a lot of things to look out for. First, you want to look for co-packers that would make your product. So you want to Google that, and you can get a list of those, and we compiled the list. And we actually interviewed and sent samples to 24 co-packers to find one that could make our relishes, because they're unlike a pickle relish that has about a quarter of a jar of liquid. Ours is all fruits and vegetables, and so it's a very thick relish without a lot of juice. And so pumping it through the machinery into the jars was challenging, and making sure they have the right kettles that is perfect for your product. If you're doing chocolates, you're going to want like a copper kettle, and not every co-packer has a copper kettle. So you'll want to interview them, speak with them on the phone, and they have someone who handles that. And then once you decide you're going to work with them, you're going to sign contracts where they are not going, you cannot give any of their trade secrets away, how they manufacture and kettle and bottle their products. And then they're also signing the same contract that states they are not allowed to use your product or make a very similar product to yours, because then that breaks the agreement. So you don't have to worry about them stealing your recipe. Some of the pitfalls will be, do they charge you to make the product? Because once you go there, you'll make the appointment with them. You send them recipes. They'll kind of say, yes, we think we can do this. Then you'll send them samples. They'll look at the different particles of the product and say, yes, we can produce this. They'll set up an appointment. You will go there, and you will spend probably 3 to 5 hours with them. They're going to make it. You're going to keep tasting it, making sure that it looks the same, smells the same, that the material is the same in size. So like one we have is a chunkier sauce and one is a smoother sauce, and making sure that that is at the right particle size. And just some people charge you to do that. Some do not charge you to do that. Some will give you your kettle recipe, because your home recipe is going to be different than the kettle recipe. Some will not. They think they own the kettle recipe, and some people say, no, it's yours. So you will want to ask different questions about that. And do they charge you to come? One co-packer we use, they charge us $1,000 to come there and make it. Two other co-packers, they charge just $0. So you just have to kind of weigh out which one is best for you to work with. I would check out several, because some will come in 10 cents cheaper than the other. And, that's your bottom line. That's your profit. So you want to pick out a co-packer that's the size for your company at the time. We have a small co-packer. There are times we don't need to make a 500-gallon kettle, but if Food Line puts in $30,000, we do need that co-packer. If someone's only putting in maybe a $2,000 order, we can use our smaller co-packer, because any overage is my profit sitting on the pallet waiting to be sold. So you want to make the kettle batch as close to the order that you're going to be fulfilling. But read the contract. That's the most important thing. Read the contract and ask questions about each section of it.
Chef, there's a follow-up question on the co-packer. Does the co-packer assume the responsibility for FDA labeling requirements, or is that up to the product owner?
No, your label is yours, and it needs to be 2 specs when it goes to the label company to be printed, and then they would send it to the co-packer. So it needs to, the things that they do take responsibility for, or like they help you with recalls if there's a recall in your product. Any of the inspections, FDA inspections, that's on their end, and they handle that for their facility. So you don't have to worry about those things. A lot of things it takes off your plate because it's under the check, the inspection with the co-packer and not you. But your actual label is going to be your responsibility. And there's a great FDA website for your product, especially if it's food, and you can go there and it will give you the requirements. And some things I wasn't really sure and wasn't sure if I understood it correctly. So I actually just picked up the phone and called them, and they were really wonderful and informative.
Okay, shifting gears a little bit, this question comes from Stephen. How did you get basic funding to get started? Did you get grants? Did you get loans? What did you do, and what would you recommend? Many of my friends that are Virginia Finest Products also, many of them got bank loans to start their company. I chose not to do that for just personal reasons, a decision between my husband and I, but he was gracious enough to let me give up my job and my income to start the company. And then we have a partner, the Wellers. So each month of the first year, I kind of knew what we needed to do. So I said, we need to pay for the LLC. So everybody pitched in that amount of money from each family. So each month we just pitched in what we needed. And to date, I think we have about $22,000 each family's put in to get to this growth. So you can do it very cheaply, but you have to be money smart. And I pinched every penny, and I always looked for the cheapest is not always the best, but I did interview several different people in each area, making sure that we were spending the money well. But okay. There are bank loans out there. Some people will, go that route, and some people, grants take a long, long time. We are working at grants, but it's a couple years out, so it takes a long time. So it's not going to be something you're going to actually start your startup with. Okay, thank you. Another question. How do you establish business with independent stores? What worked for you?
Say that again, please.
How do you establish business with independent stores? What specifically worked for you in your initiatives?
We actually called them and spoke with the buyer and told them that we had recommendations from fans on Facebook that shopped at their store, thought our products would be a great product in their store, and we wanted to come by and just do a tasting demo. And so we just basically picked up the phone and called. Some we drove by and talked, but most people would prefer you have an appointment because they have different things going on in their day. And so that they can really give you the time you deserve, just set up that 15-minute appointment. But many were very welcoming because they're always looking for something new and different that other stores don't have, especially the main grocery stores. So they're kind of first to kind of kick off your product, and they're very proud and excited to do that.
Excellent. Here's a question for you. Did you consider any co-marketing or co-productive partnerships with other businesses as part of your business ventures?
We do have some co-partners. We're not actually tied to each other, but we do work together. So we have a meat company that use our sauces when they pre-pack, ribs in the sauce, or burgers with the sauce, or chicken with their sauce. And we also are working with companies like we have been approached by Omaha Steaks. They were looking for sauces to kind of pair with their chicken and steaks and dogs and burgers. So we do try to work together. There's a French bread baguette company. It's kind of like you buy it in a box, and we use their product when we do big expos. So we promote their product with our product on it. So, finding another company that pairs very well with your company is an excellent thing to do because you're promoting to their customers and they're promoting to your customers. So you're kind of cross-working together, and that is a good pairing, and it builds your customer base even faster.
Okay, here's another one. It's kind of related to something that you've already talked about. How important is it to get officially certified when using labels or descriptive terms like gluten-free, non-GMO, organic? Did you get officially certified, and how does one go about doing that?
There are certain terms. FDA requires you to have a certification certificate for that. And so you would go through a third party, like non-GMO. You have to pay, I think it's around $500 per product and they will take your product through the non-GMO testing. And then at the end, if it is, they will give you that certificate, which you can use on the label. Organic is the same way, certified vegan, certified gluten-free. So all these things are third parties that you would look up, and there's several different companies that will do it. Just check the pricing, what the process is for your product. For us, it's an added cost that goes into the bottom line, which goes to the wholesale price, which goes to the consumer. We want it to have a good price because our product is made from fresh produce, and so it's a little bit more expensive than something that's made out of frozen or canned product. And so for us, all natural really kind of replaces our organic, and you do not need a certification for that. But when you go to get your food testing, they will say, yes, you are all natural. And you have to have your food testing done before you go to a co-packer. That is a standard that tells them how to cook your product, how long it has to be cooked, at what temperature, and what temperature it has to be bottled. So that standard has to be done and given to the co-packer prior. So also they will tell you if you're gluten-free, and so we're gluten-free, but we're not certified gluten-free. So you can have some certifications that are not, that do not require that third party and the additional cost.
So additional question around ingredients in the label. How transparent must you be when listing ingredients on your label for consumers while protecting your intellectual property like trade secrets from competitors?
You need to be pretty transparent. The one thing is you cannot trademark, you can't patent a recipe. Recipes cannot be patented. You may have a trade secret that goes into the recipe, but the recipe itself cannot be patented. It's not just yours because there's only so many ways to make barbecue sauces. There are so many ways to make relishes. So what you can do when you go to your food science testing, they will, at least ours, NC State, they give our ingredients list two different ways. And one is slightly vaguer than the other, and you can pick which one of that format you want. The thing is, I can tell you all of my ingredients. Good luck making it. You're really going to have to spend thousands of dollars on reverse engineering, which is legal. They can reverse engineer your product and make it. But, you know, do they just want to make their own, or do they really want to spend thousands of dollars just to copy my product? So it's really not a major threat out there.
All right, here's a question specific to product packaging. Do you have any specific advice around product packaging? And if you could also address shipping, I think there would be some interest in understanding that as well.
Okay. Packaging needs to be affordable. That's the first thing, because that's really going to up your bottom line. It's going to make your product cost more expensive. So you want a nice bottle or a nice package, nice box, but not the high end and not the low end. So kind of that good medium that fits your product well. I like see-through things. I think that is more attractive. People are more likely to pick it up if some of the product is showing. So we have a wraparound label, and we show product at the top, above the label, product below, and then we have a band of open in the back, so our label does not touch end to end. We leave that space there so people can actually see how much is left in the bottle. That is one of my frustrating things when the label covers and I don't know how much is left in the bottle. So I think something see-through clear, but you definitely want to be middle of the road but attractive. Shipping comes in different ways. We actually have hired someone who drives for us, and they do 45-mile radius, and it's $7 a case. So that is their gas and time. That's how they get paid. And that's added onto the invoice for my customer, the retail store. So they pay all of that. So they pay for the product plus to get it to them. If they're past 45 minutes, we pack it up. We have custom-made boxes that the product goes in, and then we have custom-made boxes that box goes into to reduce the amount of breakage that we have. And then we have custom-made styrofoam cones that holds the box inside. So you can get a FedEx account, and it gives you a discount, and you can actually fill out the shipping label from your computer and have FedEx to pick it up, or you can drop it off. Same for UPS. And you just want to kind of keep talking with them. They usually have people to reach out to companies, and you can kind of, what kind of discount can you offer? And just keep pushing that discount, because the cheaper the product is to ship, more customers will say yes. A lot of people have said no to us, not thousands, but probably 15 or 20. 90% of our people that we have an interview with or we talk to take our products. But some say by the time they add the shipping on, and it's $1 per bottle, they have no margin left for themselves, or the price point is too high for their customer. So you just have to kind of look at that. It may not be a good fit for a store that's too far away if the shipping is too much, because it is added on to the consumer price at the end. And then when you get into chain stores, the big wholesale stores, Sam's, Costco, Food Lion, the grocery stores, many of them will backhaul, send their trucks out to backhaul. So they take the stuff to stores, and the truck heading back to the warehouse is empty. So that's why it's called backhaul. And they'll stop at the different co-packers and pick up any orders that are ready and bring it back to log into their warehouse. Then it goes back out to the individual stores.
Interesting. In the few minutes that remain, there have been a couple questions specific to your business. So there's some curiosity out there. If you could tell us more about your name, what does BS stand for, is what we're all thinking. And is there a story behind that? Did you do any research? How did you decide to go into the condiment barbecue sauce business? People kind of want more insight into your personal story.
My personal story started that my entire life I've had food allergies, and my siblings also. So it was challenging as a child growing up. You can't eat this, you can't eat that. So it was challenging for sleepovers, birthday parties, things like that. So my mom made a lot of our condiments, our food, to our dietary needs. And then as I married, my second child also had food allergies. So then I'm back. I have food allergies now, my son. And then I'm making the food for us and our special needs. Well, then other people started to find out, how are you, meeting that need? How are you having macaroni and cheese, but you're allergic to dairy? So I started to share my recipes with people, and then they were coming to me. My husband's been diagnosed with diabetes or high blood pressure, or my child has celiac. Can you help us convert recipes? So I started converting recipes for people, which kind of led to my TV show and the radio talk show and my cookbooks. And from there, it's just kind of been a passion of mine to, when I'm married, I'm buying one thing for $7 or $8 that doesn't taste that great, but it meets my dietary needs. My husband's getting something that's way cheaper and tastes way yummier. And so I was driven to say, I'm going to make this one product that the entire family can enjoy, therefore saving money and it tastes good for everyone, but it also meets dietary restrictions for those who have them. So that was kind of my passion behind it. And the name BS is a very rustic food. Everything's made from fruits and vegetables. I like clean eating, and that's how I've always cooked and promoted through my cookbooks and my cooking segments. And so to me, it was kind of that outdoor cowboy rustic cooking. You know, catch a prey, skin it, put it on a stick, barbecue it. I grew up with a family that barbecued you know, pigs a lot, so we had a lot of pig roast. And it was just kind of something that was in me, and so I wanted blow and smoke. And when I went to trademark that name, it was already taken. And so just through family conversation of coming up with another name, because we now already have a website, social media going, we ended up going with BS Grilling instead of blowing smoke. So it was just kind of, we took the initials because we already had a play on words, and it just kind of worked out for us.
Ah, well, now that's...
It's a little sassy, but not, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good story. All righty. I don't believe we have any additional questions, so I thank you for today's webinar, Chef, and I thank the audience for attending. If you do have any additional questions that you think of after the fact, please email them to ritalum@rit.edu or tweet them to @RIT_alumni with the hashtag #MeRIT, and we will get you some answers from the chef directly. As a reminder, everyone who participated today will receive an email from us in the next few days with a link to today's webinar recording. Again, Chef Richards, thanks for being our panelist, and thanks to all of you for participating today. Please join us after the Thanksgiving holiday for what recruiters look for when hiring in 2018. Hannah Morgan will join us. She's a job search and social media strategist. I actually know Hannah. I highly recommend tuning into this webinar. You will learn how to increase your chances of landing a job faster by aligning your job search with what recruiters are actually looking for. That webinar will be held on December 6th. So to all of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, happy holiday, and we hope to see you again on a future webinar. Please exit by simply closing your WebEx window, and feel free to take the optional and very brief survey at the end and tell us what you thought about today's webinar. Have a great afternoon.